Part 2 of the Scone standalone. It's kicks off with race 5, the English Guineas, which of course is a restricted sale race, and the form guide never tells you that you have to be an English horse through the sales to participate in this race. And today at Scone there's a race for only graduates of the Scone English race, the Scone English sale, which is why it's so shit all the time. You know, big hello to the owners of those horses. I'm sure they're excited today. But from a form point of view, remember that the race today at Scone is for Scone horses only, and this race tomorrow is for English horses only, which is why 400,000 can't get you a better race. Now the market reads $4.40 prized Icon back from the Derby, $4.50 Calander, $6.50 Mr. Sneaky, $8 is Sprite, $14 South Sonic, and that's pretty much your market. Now, not a great deal happening in this race. I'd suggest that Bar Bass, who's trialled again since his highway resumption, is forward. Critical Thinking and Our Beliefs are not too far away from their low draws. Just Dreaming and possibly France go forward, and it wouldn't be surprise me to see Calander go well forward in this race, despite the fact that he's been ridden with success off the pace from time to time. So just not a lot happening in terms of speed.
Pretty easy race to do, wasn't it? You could just pen so many of these horses.
Yeah, well, that's the nature of this race. You get some rubbish in the race.
And I'm backing a pen. I was setting you up there, wasn't I?
I know what you're doing. I knew what you were doing.
I'd already told you I was interested in backing this thing. Mr. Sneaky I got on top. I know it's Melbourne stuff, but there's just little question marks about what I thought were the other chances in the race, which is 1 prized Icon, 2 Calander, and who was the other one? Sprite, number 11. I've been a big fan of Sprite. Not sure whether she's with us this preparation, or he, she, was it? Yeah, she. Prized Icon, interesting. 2,400 metres back to 1,400 metres. I know 42 days off, but it seems
well, also
radical,
he hasn't got that good a record. You know, it's sort of like he's starting to look a bit chewed up.
Yeah.
Because it's, what is it, 14 starts, 3 wins, or is it more starts than that?
Well, 18 starts.
18 starts, 3 wins. Yeah. 18 starts, 3 wins. It's like, ugh.
It's just one of those ones where this is obviously an afterthought. You know what I mean? We didn't get the win out of him.
Isn't he just, you know, like, let's have a crack at the Queensland Derby, so we'll just use this race as a barrier trial.
And that's an afterthought as well, because he was aimed at the proper carnival. So there's question marks there, although I admit he's still got a chance. So yeah, with the question marks on the other ones, I had to go for DF pen job, number 3, Mr. Sneaky.
You heard it here, and God will be in the frame. Anything else to say?
No.
There is another pen job there that actually looks like a rapid improver. I speak of number 18, Critical Thinking, who I think he debuted at 1,400, went for a spell, and then ran a cracking race first up, like it was a neck by 4 or something, and then must have run into a much harder race because started the same price with that phenomenal reference and caned them. So I'd suggest this horse is on a rapid upward spiral and can fit into this race. Where I start in this race is Calander, who looks to me to have the perfect setup tomorrow. He's now 3rd up. He went 11 to 14 the other day. Everyone knows he didn't get any opportunity in the race. He's got Bowman to ride from a wide gate, and there's nothing better than Bowman from a wide gate.
He's 1 out, 1 back. Is that the position in running you've got here?
It just looks a perfect setup for him there. Mr. Sneaky, of course, came up here for the Carbine Club, was scratched at the barrier, went back and won again. So, I mean, he must have obvious claims. I'm against number 1. Sprite, look, she did draw gate 1 the other day, and that was horrible for her. So I'm just going to hold my breath and say she's got another chance. And of the others, look, not particularly interested. Bar Bass is a rough place hope because he's been back to the trials and is now 2 trials and a run back from a long spell, and that time was fast last week at Mudgee over the 1,000. And Just Dreaming is racing quite well, but for mine, number 2, and keep your eye on number 18 there, race 5.
Yep.
Race 6, the time-honoured Luskin Star, the 1,300 metre listed race, which I think Mighty Lucky might have won 1 year, and
Yeah.
it's
For an old warhorse, is it?
yeah. But it was the race last year where Clearly Innocent beat Music Magnate, who went on to win his Group 1. The market reads $4.60 the Resumer, Snoopy, with no T-Berry. $5 Clearly Innocent, $6 Sir Bacchus, there's T-Berry, $7 Old North, $8.50 Grundazite, $9 Gold Symphony, and $15 Cool Ring. Now, we know what's happening here. Sweet Serendipity's on the back up to 1300 and drawn the leader's gate. So there's no prizes for guessing that Sweet Serendipity is crossing to the lead, leaving poor old Cool Ring outside lead again. Grundazite posies up. Reby Rampate may try and get in, but may be prevented by Snoopy. And Got Unders is poking up underneath them there, trying to keep up. So I don't think it's a bad setup. Honestly run. Sweet Serendipity will run a much better race than you think, because there are too many horses 1100 to 1300 here, second up.
Yeah, but it suits one of them.
All right, which horse?
Old North, it suits. What do you reckon? I thought that was a fine return last time over an unsuitable distance.
Yeah.
You know, what are you saying? If that race was over 1200, you're going to entertain it? The 11.
No. Old North has got 2,000 metre credentials for mine, so I'm not yet in an area where I'm looking to entertain him. I think he's got a good chance. He's well set up in many respects, but I had to sort of lean towards Clearly Innocent in terms of the setup, because you get Clearly Innocent was worst ridden in that race and gets Bowman and Scene of Crime.
The stats are reasonably impressive, but don't you have an inkling that this horse mightn't be with us?
This is his last chance. You know, this is like D-Day for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, Old North. I quite like Old North. Snoopy, I'm against.
I'd give it some sort of a chance, Snoopy. Although, if you notice in the trial, I'm not sure whether it was strong through the line. Although it was a good trial, it seemed to me that Handfast was taking off far too much ground off it late. But I think it's still got a chance.
Okay, and any comment on Sir Bacchus, who of course had a 1,000 metre barrier trial at Randwick. It was on a race day.
You know, always liked this horse a little bit. I think it's interesting with the jockey booking. Yeah. Well, if you're going to question mark over 11 to 13, how are you going to go 1,000 to 13?
Well, it's a bit of a problem. And also, Sir Bacchus, we're not actually sure that he is a 1,300 metre horse.
He's a 1,200 metre horse.
So, look, I'm not convinced there. I wasn't entertaining number one until I went, well, here's a last start winner in this race. He's had a freshen up off the Canberra race, which is a similar type of race. He obviously beat Happy Clapper in that race.
Oh.
And you know, he's going to be overlooked in this race because of his monster weight. I couldn't work out how Gold Symphony won that race that day until I looked at the form and I went, holy shit, it's drawn gate one twice at Rose Hill on days where the inside was no good, and he got a golden switch to Canberra, which propelled him to a win.
Happy Clapper decided to...
That was his barrier trial?
Interesting decisions there. Thank you very much. Cost me a mint.
Yeah, so that's, look, I think Grundazite's got a chance. Got Unders is itching to run well again. This is a very, very good, honest horse that just needs the right setup. He had the wrong setup last week at Wagga, trying to chase from midfield, wide. But unfortunately, he just needs a bit further and a bit more control. But he's developed into a very honest, welter-type horse that will is a horse to really put in your locker for the next 12 months, I think. Dream Lane, Gordo, just snagged way back to last there at Hawkesbury from the outside gate. Really wasn't given much opportunity. She's going to get a cheapish run here.
Well, you know, I've backed it a couple of times. It's just not up. One of these other horses.
Oh, not up to these. Oh,
it doesn't have the class.
Not up to these. It's got a better setup than the 11s to 13s. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's how many lengths better is Old North in my opinion.
Well, hang on. Old North at 1300 is not Old North at 2000.
Yeah, but I'm saying that look at what they've done with it this preparation. Now, obviously, they were getting it out last prep, and they've changed their mind about what distance they think is its best distance.
All right.
We'll see.
We'll see. That's race 6. We come to the penultimate, which was Gord's hate race for the day. It's the Dark Jewel over 1,400 metres. And where do you look as far as I'm concerned? Now, interestingly, the favourite is Artistry, $4.80, $5.50 Daisy Doom, $6.50 Prompt Response. 2 horses that were backed off the map at Hawkesbury. $9.50 Shillelagh, $10 Kinchachi, $10 Extensible, $13 is Sweet Redemption, $17 Zaritza. Looks a bit keen. Sweet Redemption's got the leader's gate and the blinkers back on. We know what she's doing. Kinsachi will hop out and be straight on speed. Prompt Response will take the lead if the stablemate decides, if something happens to the stablemate. All in the Reflexes is drawn outside Sweet Redemption and will accompany her across. Artistry will settle midfield on the inside, probably on the outside of her stablemate Extensible.
Best form in the race, quite comfortably for me, is number 4 Daisy Doom, but I get sick of horses just running well and not winning, and this obviously is an afterthought. Yeah?
Why is that?
Well, for me, when you're getting this late in your preparation, you were running in like really high standard racing during the Sydney Carnival, and then you pop up to Scone and you 5th start in the prep. It's like, oh, okay, you're running really well and I haven't got the win out yet, so I'm going to have a throw at the stumps at Scone.
Well, I would say it's a setup because he's given it a freshen up off. He didn't go to the Emancipation, didn't go to the Queen of the Turf.
Yeah.
Right. So stopped. So 3rd run back was the Emancipation. Had a break, restarted at Hawkesbury. Goes to this race and then goes to the Winter Stakes.
Well, for me, that's not a restart. That's an afterthought.
All right, well, we'll beg to differ there.
What do you mean? 35 days off isn't a restart. You've got to have a proper spell.
Steve Colliguri calls that a spell.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Well, he's a pretty smart guy. Look, the one I actually went for, I was going for DF. So I've gone for number 8 Extensible. I think it's
got a very ordinary record at the distance.
Ordinary. There's a lot of ordinary stuff in this race. I was going for complete DF because I wanted to be against that that race at Hawkesbury.
He wasn't listening to me there. Of course, Extensible I think is unbeaten at 1,400 metres.
Oh, okay, yeah. Distance, not on my stats. It's got great stats, but
I think they've thrown a few 1350s into those numbers there. Okay, she's unbeaten at 1,400.
Okay. Last time it ran on a good track. Was in the Sweet Redemption Hazabil Red Excitement, and I thought it was unlucky because it was in the wrong part of the track.
Yep.
Freshen up trial, not given much chance, I think, in its 2 previous starts this preparation. I think it can springboard off that, and as I say, I was just desperately seeking something outside of Hawkesbury.
Yeah, really good tip, Gord, because I actually went looking for Extensible. Unfortunately, I'd looked for too many other horses, but she
needs luck from barrier 1, but if it can get a crack at him.
Yeah, I think she's not a bad smother horse, really.
Yeah.
And T Clark to ride. That's all good. You know, she's red hot. Look, I must say that I think that Daisy Doom and Prompt Response have to start shorter than Artistry. I know Artistry was unlucky in the race the other day, but she was hard ridden before she ran into the check. I'm just not convinced there. Shillelagh must run well again. It was a line finding run.
It was quite stylish, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So they're all sort of forgiving the other unlucky ones. Well, it won, didn't it?
Yeah,
it's got to get a tick for that.
Yeah. It gets a suitable race again. Daisy Doom will get cover tomorrow, and she's got to be she must run well again. And Prompt Response. Well, I know it was out of trouble in the Hawkesbury Guineas, but she was 3 wide working outside the lead, and she's now 4th up, just sitting there. So I'd be surprised if she isn't heavily backed. And I must give a tick to Kinsachi, who did such a good job first up. She's she's quite a gem, Kinsachi, for she's still relatively lightly raced. What a great race! What a great race, and. As I say, where do you look?
Yeah.
Where do you look?
I like to stamp one.
I know you do. I know you do. Well, so do I. But from the point of view of talking about a race, I like to be able to sing the praises of many and maybe pot a couple. The nightcap is the Hortensia. It's over 1,100 metres, of course, and $2.20 Nieta to go out here. $8.50 is Dothraki, $8.50 Deploy, $10 the winner of the lead-up Felines, $13 Palazzo Pubblico, $16 Le Cordon Bleu, who's got a great fresh record but a pretty ordinary 1100 metre record, and $17 Quatronic. And Quatronic is our leader and comfortably here. He came down for a highway and looked very, very, very plain, but up in Brisbane he's certainly come ahead in leaps and bounds, I suggest, with a couple of hiccups along the way, and he looks to steer forward from his wide gate. Felines, Deploy, Nieta, Amalak Millie, Dothraki taking his trail, but looking for a position behind those with Palazzo Pubblico, and that's pretty much Paint pressing forward to a wide just ahead of midfield position. Right, your girlfriend's here.
Oh, and she'll be winning again. I'm sort of a little bit disappointing because I've got you know, two horses that I adore.
You've got your boyfriend here as well.
I got my girlfriend and my boyfriend. Yeah. So obviously got Nieta on top. A serious horse. I think the map works out pretty well for her. He's got so many choices from that barrier.
Yeah, it's a middle draw is good,
oh,
and
you know,
she bounced out the other day, so she's.
It's just what price. And that's.
Yeah, look, I was very kind. I was kind to her to come up with that price. So I don't think it's a spoil. It should be a betting race because I think there'll be a perception that the Randwick win was a touch.
Yeah.
A touch. What's the word? Not dour. Just scuzzy.
Yeah, I sort of. Like if you just, I suppose without the opinion I had of the horse, I could take that impression, which means maybe they will.
Yeah, I think that there'll be enough in that to say, oh, that she's short enough. And at her last try at this type of race, of course, she failed at Rose Hill when Curo held her out. But look, I'd suggest that the first up run was all about the fact that her wheels were spinning a bit on softer ground. Yep. Despite the fact that she's got a good-looking wet record, I'm sure she's better on top of the ground.
Totally agree.
So look, it's her race to lose. Good old money muncher Dothraki has trialled well and is in a race to suit. Deploy, you've mentioned, Gord. We went out on a high, and he must run well here.
Well, I mean, the case to make for Deploy is they could come back an even better horse too, couldn't it? Like, there's a chance. Anyway.
Well, yeah, that's right. Look, he was doing so well for Gerald Ryan deep in the preparation. Now he's Gerald Ryan fresh again. That's surely a very good sign. And Quatronic will give them something to catch here. He's certain to at least feature in this race. That's probably enough to talk about. I mean, you know, the other case to be made against Nieta is the fact that Wouldn't It Be Nice was poking up there on the inside in the inferior ground, and Sir Bacchus wasn't getting around and all that sort of stuff. So, there could be some sort of push.
I think you should keep on talking about these negatives for me, Mark. Can you get a few more negatives out there? Get the price better for me, will you?
All right. So that is the nightcap at Scone. Gord, drill down here for the program.
Keen on a few horses actually. Super keen, bet of the day, race 3, number 3, Almanzora. I like race 4, number 1, Eckstein at a bit of a price, and I am massively keen on race 8, number 6, Nieta. Have an Almanzora and Nieta double and off you go.
Race 5, number 2, Calander is where I've landed, and that's Scone for me. Now, don't forget, you can get my staking plan tomorrow. You can get, there's Joe. You can get my comprehensive set for Scone tomorrow, comprehensive for Kembler as well. John McLeod's got Doomben in hand with Macbeth Rant, and Dicko will be keen as mustard. In fact, given that he's had that week,
You freshen up.
well, he would have been playing Flemington on his bet trader.
Ah, yeah.
Right, so
yeah.
he'd be so keen to get back to watching the horses with his new toy.
Twice, yes.
So watch out for Dicko's Mounting Yard Mail from Caulfield tomorrow. Don't forget, Glenn is...
And by the way, you are in form, hey? Rock de Casbah assessed at $1.60 yesterday. Yeah.
Yes, good work.
What a
I
result.
think the first 5 races were pretty good yesterday at Gosford before Barrier 1 just started really taking over.
Weird.
So that was Gosford yesterday. Yes, good result. And Scone tomorrow, Kemmler tomorrow, Dicko at Caulfield, McLeod at Doomben. Gordo's said his bit, and we're back.
Well, you know what I'll say about the Doomben? What I'm going to do is any Sydney horses that match up with McLeod, I'm going to back.
That's a good suggestion.
So I get McLeod stuff, and if they're Sydney horses, you know how lethal they are up during this carnival. If he agrees with that, then you're looking at a serious chance in the race.
Obviously he's got the line on the local form.
He's got. I look like a scorpion or something like that. This is the inner city. I feel like I'm in the outback.
We'll see you on Monday for the rant. Glenn won't be here on Monday. He's just getting his head right.
Sweet. See you guys.